Arsenal overcame a sluggish start and got Arsene Wenger's farewell tour off to a great start with a 4-1 win over West Ham at the Emirates. Arsene Wenger delivers his verdict on Arsenal's win over West Ham, what the future holds for him after his 22-year tenure ends, and more. Ramsey delivers a heartfelt message to Arsene Wenger after the Gunners' 4-goal haul against West Ham. Arsenal overcame a sluggish start and got Arsene Wenger's farewell tour off to a great start with a 4-1 win over West Ham at the Emirates. London, 3 quick thoughts on Arsenal's 4-1 win over West Ham as fans got their first chance to say goodbye to Arsene Wenger. 1. Wenger's long goodbye begins with a win it took a while to come to life, with the shock of Arsene Wenger's impending departure perhaps stunning the Arsenal fans into silence, but the first game in the Frenchman's long goodbye as manager ended in victory as West Ham survival hopes suffered a dent at the Emirates. The 4-1 winning scoreline flattered Arsenal, with 3 goals in the final 8 minutes ensuring victory over David Moyes' team. But with Wenger confirming on Friday that he will leave his post as Arsenal manager after 22 years at the helm, the eventual victory lifted the mood and gave renewed hope of a successful end to the Frenchman's reign. During a tense first half, the lack of fanfare for Wenger, which was not helped by banks of empty seats, threatened to overshadow his announcement with a cloud of apathy. There were few chants in support of Wenger and a surprising absence of banners or tributes into the 68-year-old. But once Nacho Monreal put Arsenal ahead with a 51st-minute volley, the tension lifted and the Emirates became a happy place once again, especially when Marko Arnautovic's equalizer was cancelled out by Ramsey's cross, which poor Declan Rice misread and ducked under, and 2 powerful efforts from Alexander Lacazette had the fans singing once more. Beating West Ham will count for little, though, if Arsenal fail to overcome Atletico Madrid in their Europa League semi-final, with the first leg due to be played at the Emirates on Thursday. Success in that competition would give Wenger the perfect send-off and hand his successor a Champions League passport. The challenge now is to make sure that the feel-good factor at the end of this game can be carried forward into the Atletico tie and beyond. 2. Wenger's successor must build from the back. Wenger's successor, whomever it proves to be, will walk into a big job at the Emirates, but he could do worse than turn the clock back to George Graham's time in charge and rebuild from the back. One of the biggest issues in recent seasons that Wenger has failed to correct has been the lack of quality in organization and defense. The Frenchman inherited the legendary Arsenal back four of Lee Dixon, Steve Bold, Tony Adams and Nigel Winterburn, which was assembled by Graham, and the principles that the Scot instilled provided the bedrock of Wenger's early successes at the club. But Wenger has been unable to recruit a top-class defender since signing the likes of Sol Campbell and Kolo Touré more than 15 years ago, and the new manager will have to build a brand new back four if Arsenal are to compete for the biggest honours again. Against West Ham, Shkodran Mustafi and Hector Bellerin once again proved to be liabilities defensively, and they will be 2 of the first names on the new manager's hit list. Laurent Koscielny is no longer the player he was, and Nacho Monreal is another who is defensively suspect at fullback. There are other problems further up the pitch, with the lack of protection in midfield also an issue, but all great teams are built from the back, and Arsenal must do what they did in the past and start from scratch in defense. 3. Arnautovic repays David Moyes' faith. Arnautovic was on course to become the flop of the season during a miserable first half of the campaign at West Ham following his £24 million move from Stoke last summer. The Austria forward had been Slaven Bilic's star signing, but his woeful performances contributed to Bilic losing his job and being replaced by David Moyes last November. With Moyes rarely gambling on Maverick flair players in the past, Arnautovic's prospects appeared bleak when the Scot walked in to take charge. But Moyes has taken a chance on Arnautovic's undoubted talents, and the forward has repaid his manager with 10 Premier League goals. His strike at the Emirates gave West Ham hope of snatching a draw and crucial point in their relegation battle, but those hopes were dashed by Arsenal's late show. Despite the blow of conceding and losing once again, though, Moyes and West Ham know that they have a potential match winner in Arnautovic who could be the difference between the club staying up and going down. His goals under Moyes have given West Ham a strong chance of survival, but he needs to deliver over the final 4 games of the season to ensure the club pull clear of the drop zone. Mark Ogden is a senior football writer for ESPN FC. Follow him at @MarkOgden_. Page 2. The ESPN FC guys discuss the rejuvenated title race in Serie A and debate the quality of the match between Juventus and Napoli. Turin, Italy. They said Napoli couldn't do it and the case against their title challenge was easy enough to understand. The Partenope don't have the depth to win the Scudetto, they said, but Maurizio Sarri knows a thing or two about revolutions. "You only need 16 men for a coup d'etat," is one of his favorite sayings. It led La Gazzetta dello Sport to rename him the Che Guevara of Feline, after beating Genoa in mid-March. Sarri said, "If it were down to me, I'd go all the way to the palace." Arsene Wenger delivers his verdict on Arsenal's win over West Ham, what the future holds for him after his 22-year tenure ends, and more. Arsenal overcame a sluggish start and got Arsene Wenger's farewell tour off to a great start with a 4-1 win over West Ham at the Emirates. Ramsey delivers a heartfelt message to Arsene Wenger after the Gunners' 4-goal haul against West Ham. London, it was a strange day at the Emirates. It certainly did not feel like the start of a celebratory long goodbye for Arsene Wenger, but at least we knew by the end the reason why the Frenchman's departure as manager at the end of the season is laced with apathy and acrimony in equal measure. When Sir Alex Ferguson announced his retirement as Manchester United manager in May 2013, Old Trafford was awash with colour and emotion, and plenty of tears too, when Swansea City were the visitors for. Chelsea were just sharp enough to beat Southampton and book their FA Cup final spot. London, 3 thoughts from the FA Cup semi-final as Chelsea edged Southampton 2-0 to set up a date with Manchester United. 1. Giroud the hero, but Morata also on target. It still feels strange to see Olivier Giroud in the blue of Chelsea rather than the red of Arsenal. Less than a year ago, he provided a game-changing moment in the FA Cup final here for his former employers against his current employers, a brilliant chipped cross for Ramsey's headed winner. Now, his superb goal here gives Arsenal overcame a sluggish start and got Arsene Wenger's farewell tour off to a great start with a 4-1 win over West Ham at the Emirates. Arsene Wenger delivers his verdict on Arsenal's win over West Ham, what the future holds for him after his 22-year tenure ends, and more. Ramsey delivers a heartfelt message to Arsene Wenger after the Gunners' 4-goal haul against West Ham. Arsenal overcame a sluggish start and got Arsene Wenger's farewell tour off to a great start with a 4-1 win over West Ham at the Emirates. London, 3 quick thoughts on Arsenal's 4-1 win over West Ham as fans got their first chance to say goodbye to Arsene Wenger. Wenger's long goodbye begins with a win. It took a while to come to life, with the shock of Arsene Wenger's impending departure perhaps stunning the Arsenal fans into silence, but the first game in the Frenchman's long goodbye as manager ended in victory as West Ham survival hopes suffered a dent at the Emirates. The 4-1 winning scoreline flattered Arsenal, with 3. Barcelona's relentless attack pummeled Sevilla to become the first team since 1933 to win Copa del Rey 4 years in a row. Andres Iniesta gets emotional as fans of both Barcelona and Sevilla give him a standing ovation as he leaves the pitch. Andres Iniesta is presented the Copa del Rey trophy by King Felipe VI after Barcelona defeated Sevilla to win their 30th Spanish Cup. Madrid, 3 thoughts from the Wanda Metropolitano on Barcelona's 5-0 win over Sevilla in the final of the Copa del Rey. 1. Barca steamroll Sevilla to win 4th consecutive Copa in style. Barcelona's old guard turned on the style with Luis Suarez 2 goals, Lionel Messi and Andres Iniesta all on the scoresheet, as Sevilla were swept away 5-0 in Saturday evening's 2018 Copa del Rey final. Barca's 30th Copa del Rey win, and their 4th consecutive victory in the decider, was among. Mark Ogden and Dan Kilpatrick discuss Tottenham's continual lack of silverware as Manchester United knocked them out of the FA Cup semi-final. Craig Burley examines the difference in approach from Jose Mourinho and Mauricio Pochettino in Man United's FA Cup semi-final win over Tottenham. Ander Herrera's second-half effort completed the comeback against Tottenham to send Man United into the FA Cup final. Ander Herrera's second-half effort completed the comeback against Tottenham to send Man United into the FA Cup final. London, lads, it's Tottenham, is what Sir Alex Ferguson famously told his Manchester United players before a crucial game against the team that always seemed to collapse like a pack of cards. Those days of Tottenham flakiness and style over substance appeared to have become a thing of the past under Mauricio Pochettino, the Argentine coach who has transformed Spurs into a force to be reckoned with since taking charge in 2014. As they threw away a 1-0 lead, and a lengthy period of dominance.